So, like we were talking about before we left off, of course, from JOX 94.5 down there in Birmingham, Damian Mitchell on the show today. Damian, how's it going, man? I think that was messed up. I think I was muted there. Damian, how you going? How's it going today, man?
How's it going, brother? So, yeah, I thought I had dropped the call there for a second, but I'm here.
I think I muted you accidentally there. No, so of course we got to get into today. Damian Mitchell from JOX 94.5 down there in Birmingham. Of course, Alabama, the 2027 recruiting rankings. Everybody's freaking out about this. Through the whole state of Alabama, the class is small. You have 8 hard commits in this class, ranked 71st nationally on the 247 Sports website over there. That was confirmed from Friday's rankings. It's not the concern that there's no talent in this draft. The real concern here is the amount of people in this draft. So, Damian, what do you think? Is it a little too early to be overreacting about a class ranking in 2027?
Yeah, I do, because you look at the landscape of college football. These guys, and again, no shot at any sort of high school recruit. I know this is a tedious process, but they don't know exactly where they want to be. I mean, here's the thing: like, guys commit their junior year, their sophomore. We've seen some as early as their sophomore, freshman year. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, it's just something we're not used to. But when you look at the day and age of where college football is, I mean, everybody's out for money, and Alabama's still going through the old way of, like, listen, man, this is a great opportunity. The Alabama brand is going to sell itself. I think that early on, especially we're in the month of June, man. Like, we'll see what this looks like once the football season goes on. And of course, like, people decommit, they'll recommit to certain other places. But also, I think it's more of a quantity. It's more of a quality over quantity. We've had numerous beat writers from the University of Alabama that cover Alabama that have said on our airways that, hey, like, Kalen DeBoer has even said, listen, this is not going to be a big class. Like, there's no reason to try to collect and stockpile as much possible talent for 4 and 5 stars. I think it's more of, hey, this is what's going to fit our program and what we're looking at moving forward. And if that number is small, so be it. But I'm not too big into it, because again, this is a team that made it to the college football playoffs last year, won the first ever college football playoff game on the road at Oklahoma, and then ended up losing to the best team in college football in Indiana. So I kind of look at it as, yeah, it kind of stinks, but if it was any other program instead of Alabama, nobody would be griping or complaining.
Right. I mean, this may be a thing of Alabama fans and really around the country. Fans of college football are used to the Saban way of doing things within the recruiting, right? There used to be a lot of pieces and directive towards the recruiting class for Alabama. They're used to that top 5 recruiting class, that top 3 recruiting class. So in many ways, it's unfortunate because of the thinking of those things of Alabama fans and fans around the country are used to these Nick Saban type recruiting class. So now DeBoer is unfairly being judged for how this is being done. And really this far out, it's really unfair to judge things on how this is done because of how far we have into the 2027 season, and not to mention all the seniors that are actually on the roster for that year when this class will come in. There's not a lot of seniors. This is a young Alabama team we have coming in this year. There's not a lot of seniors on this roster. There may be a handful. The youth of this roster that we have coming out next year, I just think it creates an unfair judge for DeBoer, especially this far out, for how we're going to handle this. This also leaves more room for transfers coming in, maybe towards this, maybe an older team because of the transfers when this class comes in. So I think this is a little premature for Alabama fans to be thinking, wow, man, we're so low in this class of, 71st in the country, yet other teams, especially in the Power 5 now, or Power 4, however you want to say it, is being a lot higher in the recruiting class rankings, because we're going to get judged from the Northwesterns of the world, or the anything like that, to get compared to.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too. It's when you look at just this roster makeup, there's a lot of underclass. There's a lot of young guys that have stepped up and stepped up in an early age, and it was going to be tough for Kalen DeBoer anyway. Just being the guy replacing Nick Saban, so everything that he he's done has been under a microscope. Like people go back and say, oh, they lose to Vanderbilt. They lost to Florida State to start the season last year. And and something I've tried to just really break down with Alabama fans of, okay, I understand the expectation is absolutely unfathomably high. But when you look at how 2025 season went for Alabama, one, you couldn't establish any sort of consistent run game. You made Ty Simpson go out there and do possibly everything under the sun to make this offense have some sort of a heartbeat. And you still made it to the college football playoffs. You won a game on the road, got revenge against the team that beat you in the regular season, and you ran into a buzzsaw that is Indiana. Like Indiana was the best team in college football. And all season long we saw that, and then we saw it in the college football playoffs. When you look at it in hindsight, that's a damn good football season. Like any other team not named Alabama would have looked at 2025 as a success. But it's just because when you've seen so much success at the greatest of heights for so long, it is hard to just sit back and say, you know what, that actually is a pretty good season. So I look at the 2025 season for Alabama and going into 2026 is, okay, you're going into it now with the same question marks as you had last year. You're going in with a quarterback that hasn't really proven much, but you've got the pieces around the quarterback that could really elevate and make 2026 a special season. But, again, it's early. It's early in June, and everybody's looking at, oh, my gosh, we can't get any players in. We'll just wait and see. It's the wait and see approach.
Damian Mitchell from JOX 94.5 down there in Birmingham. I agree with you 100%. I think this is a complete overreaction, and you talked a little bit about, the youth kind of at the quarterback position, the unprovenness, similar to last year with Ty Simpson being unproven when he came in and stepped up and had an amazing season and got as far as Alabama did. So next year, obviously the quarterback competition has taken shape all summer. What's your feel on how everything is going down there over there in Tuscaloosa? Is this a Keelan Russell-led team, or is this an Austin Mack-led team down there in Alabama?
Man, I'm not going to lie. I think it's a day-by-day process. I truly think Kalen DeBoer and his offensive unit, I think he looks at this room as, okay, we can't really make a wrong decision here with either Austin Mack or Keelan Russell, because you saw glimpses of them from what we were able to see there in the 8A game this spring, where it's like, okay, well, Keelan looks like he's got a little bit of juice. He has a little bit of an it factor. Austin Mack has been there for the longest. He understands Kalen DeBoer. Like he's been his guy everywhere he's gone. But really and truly, right now, if I had to make a decision, I think it would be Keelan Russell. I think Keelan Russell gives you a little bit of a different dynamic as far as just he has a little bit of a twitch. Like it's something that you can't really coach. It's something, but you see it with your own two eyes of, okay, like he's got it. Not to say that Austin Mack doesn't, because when he came in against Indiana with basically nothing to lose, he went out there and he ran the offense pretty efficiently for everything that had transpired up until that point. But right now, I think Keelan Russell, from what I've seen and what I've heard, that he just kind of gives you something different, because he is able to have a little bit of the quick twitch muscles with his legs. He can actually have some quarterback design runs. He keeps you honest in the pocket, and he's got a nice arm. So I think when it's all said and done, I think it's going to go into fall camp and maybe even to game one with ECU. But I do think that we'll be looking at Keelan Russell taking over as the starting quarterback for Alabama moving forward.
So from my understanding of this and my feel of the Keelan and Austin Mack situation is, I think, and I take this from a betting odds situation almost. I think Keelan has this way high ceiling, but he also has this really low floor. And Austin Mack has more of a fixed posture somewhere in the middle of that. So whoever takes the reins within this season, I think that is the possibility of how it's going. And that's not to put a bad factor on Austin Mack. I think Austin Mack's an incredible quarterback. Like you were talking when he came in at Indiana, he showed flashes of what he could do. And then he kind of stumbled at the end there. But there's not much Austin Mack could have done in that situation. He was not in a game to win. He was in a game to get experience, because Ty Simpson got hurt. He had that rib issue, and he'd been hurt for a while, so it was time to take him out. So I don't want to take that unfair approach with Austin Mack, but I think in terms of this, I think Austin Mack has that fixed ceiling. I think Keelan has that high ceiling, but he has that low floor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that too. Like because I don't think you can go wrong with either one. But I kind of like the way you described it. It's something about like Keelan Russell has like it's just something else that just kind of sets him apart. But like you said, Austin Mack is right there where I know what I'm getting every single day. And to your point too, when he came in for Indiana, it was like, okay, well, this is about par for the course. He didn't do anything necessarily spectacular, and he didn't do anything just absolutely like, oh my God, we can't have him as starting quarterback next year. But he's kind of in that fixed mode of, okay, I know what I'm going to get. Where Keelan Russell is, man, if this clicks, this is going to take this Alabama offense to the next level. But also, it could kind of look pretty stagnant if it doesn't.
100%. I think you're hitting right on the money there. So Caleb Mills hitting us up on YouTube here. So Damian, Caleb is a local country artist out here in Huntsville, but he does have a question for you, but really not a question. It's more of a statement. I want to know how you react to this. He is saying Bama fans are freaking out because Auburn's 2027 class is incredible right now.
I mean, Auburn's had pretty consistent recruiting classes the past couple seasons, even with Hugh Freeze being in the helm of things, and it really hasn't produced anything. So I kind of look at it from, the collection of talent may be good, but again, I love Alex Golesh. I think Alex Golesh is going to get Auburn right, but it's early. It's early. I wouldn't I wouldn't read too much into it because Auburn for the past, I think, 5 years has had anywhere between top 10 to top 20 to top 15 classes, and yet has finished under 500 the past 5 years. So it's kind of the talent may be there, but what are they going to do with it? Respectfully.
I think me and you probably have the same opinion of Alex Golesh as in his, this guy was brought into Auburn for a reason. He has a pretty good not really record against Alabama, but he, for lack of a better word, he has a really good record against Alabama. He was the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, gave Alabama fits. He was the head coach at USF. He gave Nick Saban fits at Alabama. He was the perfect guy to take the reins at Auburn, and Auburn needed this, offensive infusion that they haven't had under Hugh Freeze. Their defense has been fine, but their offense just hasn't been up to par these last couple of years. So bringing in Alex Golesh to go along with the defense that they have had the last couple of years, I think it's a great buy.
Yeah, 100%. I love Alex Golesh. Like when it was early on in the coaching search, I threw his name out there just to I literally was just throwing it out in the wind. I was like, man, I would love to see Alex Golesh at Auburn. Really, literally, did I not? I didn't know that they were working behind the scenes because I thought John Summerall had the job locked up, and he was. I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's not a bad hire, but I would love to see Alex Golesh. And the thing about Alex Golesh is everywhere he's gone, he's had success. Like it's no ands, ifs, and buts about it. And when you hear him in the media, when you talk to him, you get the feel that he is no nonsense. He's not a BSer. Like he is going to get this thing right, or he's going to die trying. Like he's made fun. He's poked some fun at. I'm not a golfer. Like I'm not going out there hitting the ranges. Like I'm going watching tape. I'm meeting with the boosters. I'm talking to the networks. Like I need to make sure that this football team is ready when come kickoff to start this season. But I think what Alex Golesh has is the continuity with a lot of stuff that happened in South Florida, marrying that with what DJ Durkin has on the defensive side. Like it's almost a situation where it's going to have to work. Like it's just got to work, because if it doesn't, I think it's more of an indictment on where Auburn is as a program than it is like Alex Golesh's ability to coach, because I think he's absolutely phenomenal.
100%. I'm with you. And I was with you. I thought Summerall was the guy at Auburn. He has the Alabama connection going through there. I thought he was going to be the next head coach at Auburn. But Golesh is obviously a great person for the job over there to be the head coach of the Auburn Tigers. Damian Mitchell over there from JOX 94.5 down there in Birmingham. So, Damian, before we leave off today, we only got a couple of minutes here. The new act that's been enacted, Protect College Sports Act. Are you for or are you against this? Is this good for the sport?
Yeah, there are pieces, I believe, that are good for the sport. It's so convoluted. Once everything starts getting political, it just kind of throws a wrench in everything. But there needed to be some sort of stability as far as where college athletics was going, because it was trending towards an unsustainable model. That it was basically the haves and the have-nots were going to start separating. But now I think that there's a potential that we could probably get some sort of stability. And again, I'm all for these kids making some money, but there's got to be some guardrails as far as like, hey man, you can't be able to transfer 7 different schools in 6 years. We've got to get some eligibility requirements because who knows what nobody knows what eligibility is anymore. Like if you could, I'm looking at my transcripts from college and saying, you know what, I may actually have another year if I can go to find a judge here in Birmingham to kind of give me a temporary injunction. I could be suiting up for the Auburn Tigers next year and give you some slot receiver numbers. But I think for as long as we're trying to push the forefront of like some sort of stabilization of where college athletics can be and where it should be, I'm for. But I just think there's a lot of layers to it. But we're gonna have to iron some of these things out. But I do think that it's in the betterment of college athletics.
Man, Damian, I wanted to disagree with you on something. But I can't disagree with you on that. That echoes what I was saying just a little bit earlier, is especially when it gets political, it throws a wrench into things. There's so many things in this bill that it needs to combat, and it's doing the right thing. But I just worry that in the current nature of college athletics, I don't know if everything in this bill, I think this is more directed at the Big Ten and the SEC for the problems that we see that they're having within the sport. It's not really to those Sun Belts, those MAC conferences that really need some help. Now, it's going to stabilize a little bit for them just because of the after effect that it's doing with the SEC and the Big